Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to set up a development environment using JavaScript and a browser. The first thing you want to do if you're learning to code is you're probably going to want a text editor, something to write your code in. I'm going to recommend Atom. There are certainly a lot of other ones out there, but Atom is fairly easy to use and there's not a lot of learning curve with it. So I'm going to go ahead and Google Atom. And actually, the first thing that shows up is what we're looking for. So if I go to atom.io and I click on Atom, I'll see this page and it'll give you an option to download Atom, and that's the text editor. Now you'll notice that it says Windows for me. The website should be able to auto-detect your machine if you're using a Linux or a Mac, and it will actually give you the appropriate version. So I'm going to go ahead and download the Windows version. And I'm going to save that, and I'm going to pull this up, open this, and it'll take a little bit of time, but not too bad. And it should just do everything for you. It's a very painless install, and I think they put a lot of effort into making it a very painless install. So once Atom is installed, a little window should pop up on your computer that looks something like this. This is your Atom text editor. But you'll notice that there's no projects are open, or there's really no code to write in our text editor. So we need to create that projects folder. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go into my desktop. I'm going to right-click my desktop, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a new folder right on my desktop. You can create a new folder wherever you want on your local machine. I'm just going to go ahead and do this for simplicity. So I'm going to rename this. I'm just going to call this Code Projects. I'm going to press Enter. So when we look in our Code Projects folder, we'll notice that that too is empty. So what we need to do is we need to start putting some code files in it, something to actually write our code in. And we're going to write that with our text editor. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. In Atom, I'm going to go ahead and click File, and then I'm going to click Open Folder. And then I'm going to open my Code Projects folder. And so that's going to be right here. And then I'm going to select that. So now we have our Code Projects folder. It's empty. I'm going to create two files inside the Code Projects folder just to get us started. So the goal here is to write a really basic development environment in JavaScript, something that works with our browser using JavaScript. And the most basic thing that I can think of is a project that has two files, one with an HTML file and one with a JavaScript file. So let's go ahead and create those two things, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to right click, and then I create new file. So I right clicked the Code Projects folder in Atom, and then I selected new file. And so now I'm going to create a file called index.html. Okay, so there's an HTML file, and I'm going to create another one. I'm going to right click, create new file, and then I'm going to call this first, because this is going to be our first code file that we write code in, and this is going to be first.js. All right. Now we see that both of these code files are empty. I'm going to go ahead and write in first.js. I'm going to write some code for us. So you're new to JavaScript, you're new to programming. So this is just a really basic line of code that could just get us to see something on the browser, just so we know that our environment is working properly. So in order to do that, I'm just going to type alert, and then I'm going to type an open parenthesis and a close parenthesis, and then an open quotes and a close quotes, and I'm going to just say hi. Or actually, let's just say hello world inside quotes, just like that. And then I'm going to put a little semicolon at the end, okay? So if none of this makes sense, that's perfectly fine. But what this will basically do is this will make one of those, pop-ups that you love so much on the internet. This will display a pop-up for us when we open our web page. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to save that. And so that's our first.js. So now what we need to do is we need a file. We need a file that will open that first.js for us. So when we click something in the browser knows to open our JavaScript. Okay, so this is kind of like a middleman for now. So in order to do that, we're just going to do it in the most bare bones way possible. I'm going to type open. So HTML is not JavaScript, so this is going to be a little different. If any of this is weird to you, just don't worry about it for now. We're really just setting it up so we can get something to happen so we can start working with code in the machine. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to type HTML with this open less than sign and then this greater than sign, right, at the ends here. And then I'm going to do the same thing, less than sign, slash, and then HTML on the bottom. And this is what's called our HTML tags. We write things inside our HTML tags. And then I'm going to type greater than, less than, and then inside here I'm going to put body, greater than, slash, less than, and then body. All right. And so now inside the body tags, we're actually going to load our JavaScript file. So I'm going to type script, and then I'm going to type src is equal to, and then I'm going to say first.js. And so in quotes. So this has to be exact, right? Otherwise it's not going to work. And then I'm going to close my script tag, script. There you go. So you might notice on your version that this might be grayed out for you. If that's the case, you can go into File, and then you can go into Settings, and then you can go and you can tick off Use Tree Sitter Parsers, and you can tick that off. Okay, if that really, really bothers you. If not, don't worry about the last thing I just said. Okay? So this is the file that you need to load your JavaScript. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this. And so now with both of these files saved, we actually have something in JavaScript that we can see. We can see it in our browser. And so the way that that's going to work is I'm going to open my code projects folder. I opened it in my desktop, and then I see I have two files here. What you're going to want to do is you're going to take this index.html, you're going to right click it in Windows, and then you're going to open with, and then you open it with your browser of choice. Now, I highly recommend that if you don't have one of these, that you install one. Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Microsoft Edge. Go ahead and install one of those. Take your choice. They're all kind of equal, but just go ahead and select one. So I'm going to select Firefox. And I see that we opened our file. So we see in the URL, it's the location of our file folder. And then we see this hello world pop up. And that's exactly what we want to see. So if you got this to work, that was the objective of this video. And if you didn't get it to work, you can either go through the steps in the video and see what happened wrong, or you can write a comment to this video if you have any questions. In the next video, we're going to start coding, and I will see you in the next video.